Yes? Yes, you can hear me? Yes? Up? Yes? Okay. It's hidden. It's hidden. It's the hidden mic. Belief. Contrary to popular belief, I love this word. I love the whole idea of belief. And I was very inspired by this little girl that came up to me at the beach the other day, a few weeks ago, actually. And I'm walking towards the entranceway, and she comes running. She goes, "You're going to love the beach." I'm like, really? Who is she? How does she know me? And how does she know I'm going to love the beach, right? But she was so enthusiastic. And I said, "Why am I going to love the beach?" She goes, "Look, I have all these shells that I found. You can find these shells too." I said, "Wow, they're beautiful. See that little hole in the shell?" I said, "You can make a necklace out of that." She goes, "What a great idea." Then I said, "And if people don't like to wear necklaces, perhaps a keychain. But there's lots of creative things you could do with those beautiful shells that you found." She looks at me, she said, "Great idea." And then she said, "I'm going to make one for you and give it to you the next time I see you." I was so touched. First of all, she was just filled with love. There was nothing else in her mind but the day was going to be beautiful and that she was going to share this beauty with somebody that she never met before. She lived in my heart. I don't know how many yoga classes I taught about that, but she lived in my heart for such a long time, and I just began to think, like, what if we started with every day with that mantra? It's going to be a beautiful day. You're going to love today. And with belief, we're allowed to believe whatever we want to believe. So first of all, just the sound of the word belief, I think, is delicious. So people that have taken this singing class with me, right? And that was a whole new thing. Do I believe I can sing? I didn't really, but we went through with it anyway. But she talks about the words and the sounds of the vowels in your mouth. And if you believe, like, close your eyes for a minute and just taste that belief in your mouth without any conception of what it could be or what it means. Just the whole idea of belief kind of envelops this whimsical idea. And in belief is the word be. Just be, let it be. So when Nick first presented this idea to me, saying there's an opening, after a brief conversation we had had, like, maybe I might be ready to do this, voila, what manifests a week later. So I didn't really want to deal with it that moment because I was busy preparing for my final Reiki healing circle of the year. It's called Moon Heart Reiki. Dave's been there. And what we do in this circle is just get together with all vibrations. So it's the vibrations of the moon, as above, so below. Oh, there's Jerry. Jerry's been my right hand on this journey for years now. So as above, so below, the law of correspondence. There are laws that we pull together, vibrancy. So there's sound healing, there's Reiki, but it's set on something. So it was on the full moon. And that full moon happened to be in Pisces, and it was with Virgo. So it's how do we balance out the two? They're opposite. So Virgo was about being organized, and it's an earth sign, things in the box, thinking inside of the box, and this is the way that it should be. And then you come up with Pisces, and the mantra for Pisces is, I believe. So loving patterns and symbols and synchronicity, I said, well, I guess this is it. I believe. This is the topic. Here's my moment. So, excuse me for a minute. So back to the Reiki circle. It was planned when the moon rose that it would be part of the circle, the full moon. So we're out in the field. We have the circle out in Channing Daughters in the winery. It's we're surrounded by nature, by love. It's just a beautiful setting. So there's a friend of mine, a 70-year-old child, who is just another one. You're gonna love this. So he sees the moon coming up. He goes, Karen, come on out here. So through the trees, there's a hole in the trees that looks like this, and the moon is right in there. So it's the moon, and it was like the full moon, like it was a moon heart. Ta-da. So then he starts to tell me about how the moon broke away from the earth, and I'm like, I must have missed that lesson because I don't remember that. So I missed that lesson. I said, but the lesson that I remember as far as the beginning of time was, I think that we're all a star that fell from the heaven, and we came down to earth to just shine our beauty, our uniqueness. So his belief was the moon was a chunk of the earth, and mine was that I'm a star. And so, belief. Let me see, what did I have here? Okay, the nature of belief. Oh, I know. Nature of belief. I think it affords us freedom. We get to change our beliefs. And belief is not something that's stagnant, but it's true to us. So life changes, the seasons change, and we can go with the flow, the nature of belief and the belief of nature. Same, just flip it around. So flipping things around. Can you see this? Okay. And what is your first impression? What is this of? What is this a picture of? Legs and a shirt and a jacket. Which is it? Aha. It is the way you see it to be, yes? Okay. How about this one? This one people have seen before. I didn't think you've seen the legs. But what is this one? Two faces, yes. What else is it? The chalice, right. So, which is it? It's both end. And actually, you can only see one at a time, but your mind flips that easily. And so you can change your belief and understanding of that. And you can be open to what other people have to say. So I had this belief about, the stars being one thing. He had this other belief, but there was no argument there. It was like, I believe this, I believe that. So it's freedom. We're allowed to change beliefs. Here's another one. I love taking pictures of nature. Nature is something that's important to me. So in this one, what color is the sky? It's a bluish purple, right? It's shades of, okay. And in this one, bright yellow, pink. But it's the sky. So what's in a word? What's in a word? And can we take the energy of what is and contain it in a word? Not so sure. Okay, so with words, here's something that I find is very important. The Tao. A way that can be walked is not the way. A name that can be named is not the name. Tao is both named and nameless. As nameless, it is the origin of all things. As named, it is the mother of all things. A mind free of thought, merged within itself, beholds the essence of Tao. A mind filled with thought, identified with its own perceptions, beholds the mere forms of this world. Tao and this world seem different, but in truth, they are one and the same. The only difference is in what we call them. So there's an honoring here of same, and different. So in New Thought, we know that we are one mind. It's all coming from the Tao, from the essence of. And then it's manifested on this earth as individualized human beings. So we're connected, but yet different and unique in our own way. So depending on what we believe at the moment takes us to where we want to go. So doing this talk, coming up with some ideas, I got lost in my own journey. And if you have about 60 years, I'll tell you about it. But so I journeyed back to childhood, what my core beliefs were. And that gave me the idea to change. Like when we're young, we believe that mom and dad know everything. And then when we grow up, it's like, okay, so that's what they knew through their eyes. But through my eyes in a different world and a different perspective, I choose to go to other places to believe things and to come up with what's meaningful to me. So here at New Thought, in the beginning of the booklet, we talk about we are a New Thought community that embodies and celebrates universal spiritual principles. So I'm thinking to myself, what are they? What are those principles? So I went to the old Bible of Google and looked it up to see what they had to say, and it was really an interesting journey just there. So one person has an idea that there are 4 beliefs, 4 practices, somebody else 7, and then somebody else actually came up with like 105 spiritual laws, principles. 105? If you're going to come up with that many, come up with 108 and make it auspicious at least. You know, come up with a better number. But 105, I couldn't even read through them. But everything was, you know, this law, this principle, that principle. I guess she believed she could make anything up. So I just stuck to the ones that were simple, 7. 7's a good number. 7 days of the week, I'm one of 7 kids. I mean, I'm just thinking 7 rings true. And then when I read what they were, I loved this. The principle of mentalism. So the first mighty principle is that of mentalism. The universe is a mental creation of God. Sound familiar? I'm not going to go through the pages on what it talks about, but the mental power works because the universe is mental. All things are seen from relative positions of your mind and what you think. Perceptions, relative. And then they talk about, 2, the principle of correspondence. As above, so below. What you see in the sky is reflected down on earth. Your body is that way. I don't suggest you do this, but you know, if you cut off the top of your head here and you look down at the formation, it looks like a butterfly. If you cut yourself off above your pelvis by your waist and you look down at that, same, butterfly. Our bodies are represented. There's a whole art of reflexology. You know, you have 26 bones in your foot. How many bones in your vertebra? Yes. 26. Not a trick question. Okay. So the third principle is out of vibrations. All things are in constant and never-ending motion. Our breath, the world spins around. By changing the vibration, you can change the manifestation. In the beginning of the word was God. It's a vibration. It's a manifestation. You change your ideas of this. You change the vibration, and what develops, your ideas, energy follows your thoughts. So we know that here in the steps. As above, so below. 4th principle is out of polarity, duality. And I love this one. I think I called Ted on this one too, because I do a forum of body work that's based on polarity. It's called polarity. And then when you look back to the history of this, Dr. Stone, who started that, was also around the same time as Ernest Holmes, who started Science of Mind. So there's all these connections throughout our time. All right, let me see. We'll go quickly through this. 5, the 5th principle is out of rhythm. All things are born, grow, peak, diminish, and die. How sweet, right? But that's it. It's a cycle of life. Everything goes in cycles and circles. The 6th principle, cause and effect. Again, something that we use here at New Thought constantly. Everything is based on that. 7th principle is out of gender. All things have a masculine and a feminine aspect. So with that, it's not just our gender that way, but our nature is that way. Doing and being, belief to be. So the left hand, we receive and we do, from inspiration to action. So my journey went on and on, starting from something like that to about 72 hours later. Actually, it was about 72 written pages later. And I thought about, what's our journey for today? And if we went on a journey, one, what would our intention be? So I thought about Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. And her intention, right, was to get back home. First, she had to get hit on the head, you know, in a storm. And so in that storm, everything is going around and around. But she had to come back to what her core beliefs were. What was her intention? What did she want? And so along the way, there was the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and the Lion. So one wanted a brain, intelligence, thought. The other wanted a heart. We needed to have the feeling, vibration. And the other wanted courage. So if we put them together, it really does take courage to have the connection between your heart and mind and know how to listen and to know what is. And along the way, she came across the good, the bad, the evil, the flying monkeys, the little munchkins, and there were adventures all along the way. But she stayed true to her intention of going home. And she followed her path. And then she gets there, finally, after all of this ruck-a-muck, and there's the Oz. And who is he? You're a bad man. It was a false belief. And she got to choose again. What do I believe? And with her ruby red slippers, she clicked her feet 3 times right and just wished herself, she believed that she could go back home. So with the power of belief, you can do anything, you can go anywhere, but just know who you are, know what your beliefs are, know that you are a child of God, and know that with God, anything and everything is possible. And so it is. Amen.